Stop the cap.
Often asked, after 16 years, if I was to see my former daughter, will I speak to her? After 16 years. No. No. People, I'm going to tell you something about us black men. We take scrap respect. Yeah. We're conditioned to take scrap respect. We're so in tune to understanding that everybody think if we own homes, we're gonna be a slumlord. If we fathers, we're gonna be deadbeats. All of us good men, we fight and take on the full brunt of the stereotypes that you are as a black man. Yeah, the other guys, it don't matter to them. But us good guys, we the ones that fighting in the court. We the one that making videos. Basically, they don't know how to read it right when we criticize them. We're trying to get them to act right. I seen a video the other day where a black woman said, I like when black men get offed. I've never seen a black man make a video that says that. This is how comfortable they have gotten at disrespecting us, and you've accepted it. My mom. I was paying my mom's rent. My mom talked to me like I was an absolute piece of trash because she don't like my company. My daughter. I didn't do nothing to my daughter. My daughter had her own business at 6. She had a key to the office. She knew all my passcodes. She knew everything about me. I said, if anything happened to me, there's an evasive action that you're going to take. Here's the deeds to the houses. There's everything. Didn't matter. The fact is, her mother wanted to treat me like shit, and then she joined in. I fought to be a father for 11 and a half years. I fought for 11 years, 5 months, and 29 days too much. I shouldn't have fought to be a father for one day. I'm retired military, multiple homes. I own 7 cars, 6 of them are BMWs. I have 2 IULs, 1 retirement account that I'm collecting off of the military now. I've never been I don't have no felonies. I'm 56. I'm in good health. I got the goods. And still, I had to beg my daughter to respect me as a father. So 16 years ago, after 11 years of fighting her mother, and only 2 weeks of fighting her, I only fought her for 2 weeks. She fucked me over. I said, nah, we ain't doing this now. She did it 2 weeks later. Never spoke to him since. Stop accepting all the negative nonsense because you don't want to fall under the stereotypes. That's why they quick to call you a deadbeat. They're playing on your morals. After all, the song do go, Papa was a Rolling Stone and I'll always love mama, right? You're conditioned, unfortunately, to accept this bull.
I'm going to give Dr. T. Hassan Johnson credit for this analogy because he's the first person that I heard use the analogy. But he compared black women to Faust in terms of making a Faustian bargain. A Faustian bargain, it was a story. It's a German story. It's German folklore where there's a man, there's a man named Faust, and it's called The Legend of Faust. And, he's a scholar and he wants, unlimited knowledge, right? And so in the story, he makes what's known as a Faustian bargain, which is an arrangement where someone sacrifices their moral integrity, values, or even their soul in exchange for power, success, wealth, or knowledge. The idea is that the short-term gain comes at the cost of something far greater and irreversible in the long run. And Dr. T. Hassan Johnson made the analogy in reference to black women, saying that black women have made a Faustian deal with the system of white supremacy. When it comes to, even if it wasn't the highest employment, consistent employment, more so, than black men. While black men make more money than black women, on average, black women have had, much more consistent employment, government assistance, again, those extra tribal resources, which facilitates the matriarchy and allows, black women to see themselves as the provider, see themselves as the foundation, even though there's situations where they get these things, without actually having to earn it. They have access to capital and access to resources that black men, don't have. Like, remember recently they had that whole situation where like Chase Bank and I don't know if it was like Bank of America, they were going to do something like specifically for black women. And then they got sued by, some white guy. I don't know if it was the same guy that sued, Harvard for affirmative action, but basically they got sued and saying that this is discriminatory against white people, which we all know is bullshit. Right. But it got smacked down. But the point is that you see how that was built specifically for black women. Again, this is why black men, they don't fuck with the DNC, because, again, we can always be the focus of ridicule. We can always be, the focus of, oh, we're the problem. But when it comes to giving us the necessary tools to resolve our own issues, no resources are there. But then black women will get assistance and resources and stuff. And then they'll sit there and they'll actually stand there with their chest out as though they didn't get assistance, as though everything that black women do as a collective is them just simply, pulling it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this with like programs with that are supposed to focus on black boys where, you have I believe it's Title IV, where there's funding for like, young men in areas where, hold on, let me get this right. Title IV verse Title IX. Let me make sure I'm getting it right. I'm not swapping them out real quick. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Is it doing it? Come on. So Title IV Pell Grants, loans, and work study programs that the federal government funds for students attending eligible colleges and universities. If the student participates in Title IV programs, it must follow certain federal regulations, responsibility standards, yada, yada, yada. What is this? This is the Higher Education Act of 1965. No. Where's Title IX? Federal financial. So Title IX, equality. Yeah, so Title IV is federal financial aid programs for students in schools, right? And so a lot of funding for black boys will go through Title IV. But then what ends up happening is that Title IX will come up, and Title IX is about equality, which is prohibition of sex discrimination in education. So if there's funding for the boys, right, despite the fact that people will say, oh, the girls are killing it, oh, the girls are doing so well, oh, the girls are leaving the boys in the dust, oh, the boys are so problematic, oh, they were just a bunch of YNs in the community. Okay, the squeaky wheel should get the oil. Oh, but if the squeaky wheel for the boys is getting oil, we need to have the squeaky wheel for the girls getting oil. You just got finished saying that the girls are awesome and they're good. They're goody-goody. They don't have any problems, right? Which, again, I know that there's problems with black girls and that black girl magic isn't every black woman out here. But this is the whole problem with, as somebody gave the phrase, this toxic positivity, which actually is a term, where you're bragging about being so awesome all the time so much that the problems that you do have actually get ignored. Like, you actually do need assistance, but you're so busy trying to grandstand and trying to make yourself look like you just the best of the best that it undermines, those that, have an issue. Like, you're not going to hear anybody talk about, and this is like the whole thing where it's like relative and the percentages and all that shit and why percentages are a problem. Like, give us whole numbers, because, like, for example, I'm willing to bet that black girls have reading disabilities or reading at below grade level relative to white girls and relative to Asian girls. But you won't ever hear that. You won't hear that because the focus of who's the problem is always black males, and then black girls are always made out to be better relative to black boys. So black girls' issues never get addressed right? Or ever get acknowledged, because it's always framed as black girls are better than black boys. So it actually hurts black women, but they don't see it because they're so consumed in their arrogance and wanting to feel superior to black men that the actual issues that they have don't get addressed, right? But I'm saying, right, black boys, when it comes to crime, when it comes to dropping out of school, right? When it comes to all these things, right? Black boys, they need help, they need assistance, right? Trying to get them funding and resources, you got to go through Title IV. But then when the focus is on that Title IV, then here comes the girls with Title IX. What about the girls? What about the girls? And then the idea that you have to match what the girls get to what the boys get. So, like, for example, training boys costs more than it costs girls. So, like, if I was going to have a mechanics and shops class, that's not to say that any girl couldn't participate, but we already know the girls are not going to focus on, auto mechanic shop class. Like, if we could get the cars back in the schools, get the mechanic shop, the tools, everything that they would need to have auto mechanic workshop in, a school, which they used to have in the day. They used to have wood shop, metal shop, a freaking auto mechanic shop. They used to have all that. All that shit is gone. It is gone. Why? Largely because it's expensive. But again, let's say there's only so many resources, and you're like, okay, we need to have the auto mechanic shop. We need to focus on the boys and all this other stuff. It's going to be more expensive to train boys because of the type of work that they're doing. And you'll have girls come in and or the women come in and try to shoot it down with Title IX. And so it's like, oh, if you're spending $100,000 on the boys, you got to spend $100,000 on the girls. Number one, I thought the girls were good. And then number two, it's like, now you're cutting the resources in half, for the boys. Then on top of that, then when we get, 10 years passes and now we're talking about being in the dating market and marriage age and everything else, all of the fucking girls symbolically want to marry up. But yet all the programs that were created to, like, position boys to be ahead of women so that women could date hypergamously, got undermined, right? And then you have that other aspect in the background where the women don't really want the patriarchy. They don't really want men to be ahead because it comes with, patriarchal expectations and shit that they don't want to have to live up to or have to subscribe to. Give me the welfare, give me the housing voucher, and I'll take that because I'd rather have that than be underneath the rule of a black man who I see as inferior, and don't even respect any goddamn way. So, getting back to what I was saying about Faust, so the black women made a Faustian, a bargain with the system of white supremacy. They'll sit there and they'll say, oh, well, black men didn't have anything to offer, or black men were defeated because their communities were burned down, which is true. We were defeated and our communities were burned down. But the stupid thing, the idiocracy of black women is to sit there and actually believe the hype. Right? It's not like you all went and you just got the resources from the government and whatnot and we're trying to finesse. I'm not trying to say that some black women weren't trying to finesse and trying to funnel shit back to the black community. But black women, like, if you look at black women as a whole and their ideology and their rhetoric and their belief system, they really thought that the stuff that they were getting from the government, whether it was government jobs, whether it was, things that were specific to women and girls or welfare, housing, whatever the fuck it may be. Okay. They really thought that all of that is due to them being awesome and has nothing to do with the assistance that they're getting. So if black boys get the same assistance, they're weak because, nigga, you needed help. But if black girls get the assistance, it's yes, we deserved it because, we're heading towards gender equality and that's what the government and everybody's supposed to do for us because, yes, feminism, fist in the air. Fourth wave feminism, yeah, that's what we're talking about. And y'all have done this shit for for decades. You have done this shit. You have we're better than black men into fucking oblivion. And so you made this Faustian bargain with the system of white supremacy, and now you're asked out. You're asked out because, truth be told, a lot of black men, a lot of your own sons don't even fuck with you like that. Because and y'all just forget. Y'all try to rewrite history. Y'all try to go up there and try to act like the black man just woke up one day and the black man just betrayed you, and then you try to put it all underneath the umbrella, of colorism, which I admit, like, shit like colorism, is fucked up. Self-hatred, is fucked up. But black women also have their own version of self-hatred and inferiority complex, about black men. But y'all try to make, like, colorism the be-all, end-all of black men's disloyalty to you all, when the reality is like, nah, y'all have done a ton of fucking foul shit. Y'all be talking mega shit. Black women, FBA black women, in many regards, you're just as bad as the tethers. It's like when we talk about how the tethers come over here and they undermine us, right? Do not did the akata, right? They come here, right? They do that model minority bullshit. Oh, white man. Oh, the white man, right? And they. Oh, we don't need. We do. Black people do not need reparations. Like, motherfucker, you just got here. Right? They do all this undermining and shit. And then when we call them out, they start crying. They start gaslighting. They start making shit up. But you all called us African booty scratchers. Yeah, we did call you African booty scratchers. That was fucked up. But that does not equal the level of undermining that you all have done to us. It's not the same. It's not the same. But and black women do the same thing. They go, colorism is the same as all of the undermining that they've done, of black men, all of the matriarchal shit, all of the sitting there and doing subversive shit with a smile on their face, with a smirk on their face while they do it, because they got the upper hand. Just a very much that's the way the cookie crumbles. You know what I mean? And they don't, and making that Faustian bargain, eventually you have to pay up when it comes to the Faustian bargain. Okay? And Faust, he basically sold his soul to, what is this, Metaphesians or whatever his name is, right? What's the guy's name? Hold on, where is it? Damn, where's the guy's name? He was a representative of the devil. It was, what's his name? Where's it at? Damn it. Mephistopheles. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Mephistopheles or something like that. Anyway, made a deal with the devil, said, I'll sell my soul, type of, a Robert Johnson in the Crossroads type of shit. Selling your soul to the devil so that you can meet the best guitar player ever. That's what black women did with the system of white supremacy. Okay, and they had a good wave. They had a good 40, 50 years. They had a good wave. Okay, and now with Donald Trump up there, that wave is over. It's over. And they lost 300,000 jobs. And this woman writes a comment. Where's the comment? This woman writes a comment. Come on, let me see if I can find the comment. Where's the comment? Hold on. Damn it, I don't know why it's doing that. So the comment is, she says, other races of men do not get attacked because they understand the roles of men. Or the roles of manhood. First off, the only way that young black men would understand the role of manhood would be that you get with a man that can pass on that knowledge to him. But again, black women will go out here because they got the job, they got the housing, they got the whatever, the government voucher, You all go out here and you try to add black men to your program. You will go out here, you will avoid true patriarchs, you will avoid men that have transferable skills, and you will go out here and you will get with a man that has just enough so that you can call shots in the relationship. And everything's cool until you have a son, and until that son grows up into a man, and then he ends up being another black woman's problem. And then it's just a vicious cycle that ends up, continuing and whatnot. So in order for men to understand manhood, you have to get with a man. And many of you all you're not interested in doing that. And again, this is like the hardest thing to prove, because you all will swear up and down, that it's just, there's nothing but dust to pick out here. You will, again, go listen to that cat food Don Nicoleone clip. I had a first say so and the last say so. As somebody wrote in the comment section, they're insufferable, right? I was in a loving and benevolent relationship, and I ruined that relationship because I wouldn't do on that nigga's say so. That's literally what she said. I was in a loving and benevolent relationship. Fucked it all to hell. Fucked it all to hell. But anyway, continuing with what the woman said. Black males on social media blame black women to justify black male failings. Black women depend on men in patriarchal society. 300,000 black women lost government jobs. Single black women going homeless because of Section 8 and food stamp cuts. How is that a matriarchy? Like, she doesn't even understand that she told on herself, right here. She told on herself right here. Again, going back to the black males on social media blame black women to justify black male failings. There is an entire, like freaking Bible's worth of information that black men never got growing up, right? We never got from our fathers, again, the men that you all selected, and we never got from you all, because you don't want us to have patriarchal beliefs. You just want the outcomes of patriarchy. You want the benefits of patriarchy, but you don't want us to truly be patriarchs, because you know that comes with patriarchal expectations on your end. So you sabotage the whole thing. Then at the 11th hour, you bitch about the outcome. You're no different than white people in this regard. Like the joke I made with Darth Vader, whispering to one of his commanders, why are there so many aliens? And then the commander responds, it's our empire, sire. Yeah, so, and I see this. I see Australians, making videos talking about, why can't we have a white nation? I mean, China's a homogenous society. Why can't we have a homogenous society? First off, motherfucker, you're not indigenous to Australia. You're a colonizer. You came there and displaced the freaking Aboriginal people, right? The sun never sets on the British Empire. You went around the globe, rape, pillaging, and plundering, right? You wanted to expand the British Empire. That's what the fuck you did, right? South Africa, the fucking Caribbean, the Americas, right? Freaking Australia, right? India, right? You went around the globe, you expanded your empire. What did you think was going to be there? A whole bunch of other white people? You go to India, there's going to be Indians. You go to Australia, there's going to be Aborigine. You go to South Africa, there's going to be Africans, right? You go to North America, there's going to be Native Americans, right? That's what you did. And you're actually bitching now in the UK about, oh my God, there's too many immigrants. Like they just showed up on your doorstep as opposed to you showing up in their lands and making them royal subjects of the British crown. Now you're complaining. Now you're mad about the consequences of your own actions. Now you're mad. Now you're upset that you smell Indian food in the fucking streets and shit. I'm like, all of a sudden, all this white nationalist shit. I'm like, motherfucker, you did it. You could have stayed your white ass in Europe and just dealt with the limited resources that you had in Europe, but that's not what you did. You didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And so, I can't stand people who bitch about the consequences of their actions. You wanted weak men. You didn't want a patriarchy. You know what I mean? You didn't want that shit. And now you're complaining about the fact that, oh, you don't get the treatment of other races of women, or you don't get media promotion, or you don't get this, that, and the third, all of which will require what? Black men to be ahead of you. But you don't want black men to be ahead of you. This is why you get young black men that are abandoning black women, that are like, I don't want a fucking deal. You know what I mean? And it's sad because to the youngest black women, some of y'all haven't even been a part of the bullshit. You know what I mean? You were just born a black woman. You're just going through the motions, and you're like, what the fuck, right? But the fact of the matter remains is, you know, the women who came before you, they fucked it up royally for you. And a lot of these young men, they want no parts. They want no parts, you know, of sisters. I've seen videos online of black women crying about how black men ain't approaching anymore. They ain't shooting their shot. They ain't this, they ain't that. I'm like, y'all spent all this time. It was sprinkle. It was y'all niggas is dust. It was #MeToo. I mean, you done told brothers everything that black men are doing wrong, and how the only way I'm getting with a black man is if he's a multi-millionaire. That's what you fucking said. Okay? And again, that's to compensate me for having to get with the patriarchy. I don't want to get with the black patriarchy. This is what you said. You know what I mean? And again, it's so bad. Y'all fucked up so bad that you got like when you try to throw the Filipino women underneath the bus and say that they were uneducated and shit like that, and then they come online, they know everything about you. It's so easy for these non-black women to come through and scoop up a decent black man. It's not even funny, because all they got to do is do the opposite of everything that you come online and say that you ain't willing to do. And all they got to do is just come through and fucking treat the black man like a fucking king. And the black man, we're so fucking deprived. Truth be told, a lot of us are probably we're not even getting the best treatment in the world, but it's a lot better than the shit that y'all on. So we run around, we think, oh man, this shit is awesome. Man, she came to my job and dropped off a pumpkin spice latte, man. Shit, I got a good girl at home. You know what I mean? Not knowing she was in the area or some shit like that. We fall for that shit, because y'all just make it so motherfucking easy, you know, for these other races of women. And that's another thing, like, truth be told, man, y'all don't really give a fuck about where black men, you know, are going. A lot of it y'all got a lot of self-hatred. The issue is that you don't want to see black men's resources go anywhere if they have resources. And then on top of that, you know, you're a black woman. You know what I mean? So being a woman, you're not going to run out here and hit on dudes. You got to wait for them to pursue you. And the fact remains is that many of these other races of men are not all that interested in y'all. They're just not. You know, they're not killing themselves. I mean, you see the rise of white nationalism. You see all the shit the white nationalists are saying. Like this is the time. And I'm saying, and white men are the spear tip of that shit. You know, as a black man, we try to avoid women that engage in anti-blackness, but we don't really come across a whole bunch of women that are the spear tip of any sort of, you know, a supremacy of their group or what do you want to call it? Not only supremacy, you know, of their group, but, you know, engage in you know, the levels of anti-blackness that you see coming from all these white males online. I mean, the rise of white male anti-black content creators screaming about black fatigue. You know, your What If All Histories, your Charlie Kirks, your Richard Spencers, your Jared Taylors, your Thomas Russos, right? And these are the white men that y'all be talking about. We swirling, we gonna swirl, we're gonna swirl it up. You know what I mean? And you got white men running around, you know, blowing, throwing dog whistles at fucking black people, calling black people just every generalized stereotype in the world, that y'all fat and that y'all, you know, unattractive and that y'all got fake hair and weave and everything else like that. You know what I mean? Y'all can't move like black men. And I know that for a lot of black women, that burns them the fuck up. That burns them up. That they just can't we're done with you and we're going to go somewhere. Okay, go be my guest. You know what I'm saying? But even further in this comment where it says, 300,000 black women lost government jobs, single black women going homeless because of Section 8 and food stamp cuts. How is that a matriarchy? Number one, that's only happened recently because Donald Trump got elected into office. Again, that's that Faustian bargain that you made. Right? Y'all really thought that like her whole comment highlights how much she thought like that type of shit was just that was permanent. They was just gonna be that way, and niggas was just dust. We was just dust, and we was just out here struggling and everything. And black women, oh, we just better. But what you all don't understand, if it's given, it can be taketh awayeth. Okay? If somebody gives it to you, they can take it away. And y'all got comfortable. Y'all got comfortable as fuck. And now that the tides have shifted, now all of a sudden, now you, oh, but where the black men at? Oh, bring, hey, big head. Now all of a sudden, now you want to talk about community and black men and why are y'all black men online chastising black women? We need to work together. We need to this, like as though we're just gonna forget all the shit that y'all were talking and all the shit that y'all was doing for the last fucking 40, 50 years. Like we just gonna overlook all that. Like we're just gonna ignore all that. Nah. You know, and so now you all are like just really just out there in the cold. You're really out there in the cold. Black, we've been alone. Ain't nobody fucks with us. Our own women don't fuck with us. Right? We've been knowing that shit. Right? We could only fucking get in where we fit in, lay our head down, without with our back to the wall. You know what I'm saying? That the black men are used to that shit. But y'all bitches, y'all got motherfucking comfortable. Y'all got so comfortable. And now the chickens have come home to roost, and now you wailing online and shit. You made that bargain. You went over there, we got it like that, huh? We got it. Yeah, y'all niggas is in the dust. Y'all beneath us. Y'all this, that, and the third. And then you want to complain, oh, y'all black men ain't build nothing. Y'all ain't build nothing that we could benefit from. Go back to the devil that you got the deal from and go ask him or beg him to put back what he just took from you. Go ask him to put it back. You know what I'm saying? And y'all really expect us. And this is why I don't like about the pro-blacks. Because I'm like, nah, man, you don't reward disloyalty like that, man. No. We're not just going to forget that type of shit. It's virtually impossible too. Because I'm like, all the out-of-pocket shit that you was saying, all the we're just nothing. We can't do this, we can't do that, which even further reinforces why I look at y'all like y'all crazy. I'm like, why do you even bring black boys into the world? Why do you even have black children if that's your position? So let me get this right. You think, oh, it's been fucked up since forever. Black men can't accomplish anything. You're still going to go out there, get with a black man, have a baby by a black man who's probably dusty, and then you're going to raise a son so that you can have this human being that loves you unconditionally. And then when he transitions into manhood, he's going to be labeled dust by other black women because there's nothing set up for him. And he's hit with the Herculean task of overthrowing and toppling the system of white supremacy with no tools, no knowledge, no instruction, right? And if he doesn't, then he's dusty, and then he falls into the same category as his father. Why don't y'all just stop? Why don't y'all just stop? Be on the Cynthia G shit. No boys. Why don't y'all just stop? Because the last thing I want to see as a black man is another black boy come into the fucking world with no tools and no ability to position himself, as a man. That's the last thing that I want to fucking see. Because it's fucked up. It's like cruel and unusual punishment. And y'all just keep the shit going because you're just the fucking sexually irresponsible baby factories. It ain't black men, not with no 46% of black men are being fathers and 61% of black women being mothers. And that's 61% of a larger population because the women are a larger population than black men. So again, to look at it pound for pound, it probably looks like 80%. relative to the black fathers, because you got to add, the extra number of women in the population that actually exist. Y'all ain't stopping that. I'm so tired of the community's broken. Oh, is this, that? Okay, so stop. And then just let that be the end of us. But no, you're not going to do that. You're going to keep doing whatever the fuck you want to do and keep producing babies and bringing them into the world with no fucking foundation, no structure, and then you're just going to blame it on the men. When you got with a dusty dude and then you end up having sons that don't get the support that they need. And then just like that woman, when I first came online talking about my daughter will be president and my son will be a good black man. I'm like, the nigga doesn't even get a title. He's just a good black man. I'm like, so he's just a good black man that I guess operates in service to black women. But your daughter, you got high ambitions for your daughter that she can be president of the United States. You got to really wrap your head around that. My daughter will be president and my son will be a good black man. He don't even get a career. He's just a good black man. What does it mean to be a good black man? What does that actually mean? Because clearly her expectation for her own fucking son was for him not to reach the heights that she had for her daughter. Fuck you all on that shit. And then y'all wonder why you got black men that have resent, contempt, hatred in their hearts for you all. You wonder why that shit does not come out of the fucking void. You know what I'm saying? Do you have any idea how much meditation a black man has to go through to not hate you all? To not hate you all, just based off of the last fucking 50 years. Do you know how much woosah we gotta do as black men to recognize that if we're gonna make anything work, we gotta deal with your bitch ass? We gotta deal with the way that you think, operate, and function, so that we can go out here and not just disappear into obscurity and actually challenge the fucking system of white supremacy to whatever degree that we can challenge it. Do you not understand that? And some of us are just saying, fuck it. Some of us are saying, we quit, we're done, fuck it. You know what I mean? And honestly, some of these videos just end up being like, yo, we're not going to let you come online and just slander us. And come on and act like you're just the damsels in distress and you were just sitting around waiting for some black men to rescue you, but black men don't operate like other patriarchal men. So therefore, you're just these abandoned, victimized women to the evils of the evil black men. Like, fuck out of here. No, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Nah, we've been on to you. We've been documenting. We're like that employee that they keep fucking with on the job. And they just keep fucking with us, and we because of racism or something, we just write the shit down. You know what I'm saying? At 3:45 p.m. on October 10th, they came in and I went to my desk and I found a noose in the drawer. Blah 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 blah. Then the next day, it's 2:15. On October 11th, I came in and, they had, I don't know, what's some racist shit that white people will do. There was a posted on my computer screen that said nobody likes Mondays. You know what I'm saying? And you just go through the list. And then after a year of that shit, we go to fucking court, you know what I mean? And we got receipts on deck. And then and the judge and the company's lawyer is up there and we don't think any of this happened and blah, 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 blah. Well, my client has documented every occurrence of racial or racism on the job. And the next thing you know, the fucking ruling comes down and this company got to pay out millions of dollars and shit. That's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing, with y'all. We've been trying to, we're trying to figure it out. Y'all been gaslighting. When I came online, it was black men are preeminent amongst men. Black men are kings. All that man stroking and shit. And women didn't believe none of that. It was just man stroking. And Thugtician was the one that was quick to fucking, to pick up on that shit. He was like, nah, this shit is man. I actually genuinely thought it was a black woman being supportive of black men. But no, it was man stroking. It was a way to what's the word that I'm looking for? To neutralize us, right? To man stroke us into compliance, right? But these are the same type of women that, that like the house A, house B won't move into a man's house. She got to have her own house, right? Always want to, so uncomfortable with being on his foundation, got to have her own foundation. You know what I mean? Like there's no working together. You know what I'm saying? Black men are 100% accurate in their assessment of what they say when it comes to the brothers that just write it off and say, hey, I'm not dealing with them anymore. But I already know that y'all ain't going to shut up. Black men can have all the legitimate reasons they have in the world to go over the fence and not deal with y'all. And y'all will still go up there and you'll frame it in some twisted, misdiagnosed way. And the reason they're over there is because they're weak and they can't handle a strong black woman. That's why. Y'all will be up there saying that shit. Y'all will be up there just throwing black men under the bus forever. Because acting like black men are unjustified and not dealing with you. It's the same way that the DNC is like all shocked. How come so many black people, stayed home? And it's like, because you haven't been addressing our issues, because you got a crime bill for the Asian community and it's a hate bill for this and that, right? Everybody else, LGBTQ, black people are the main reason why you get into office every time you get into office. But yet when it comes to things that are specifically for the black community, we can't get nothing. And then when black people finally say, you know what, fuck it, let the Republicans win. And then the Republicans win, the fucking, the damn Democrats, they want to act dumb like they don't know why this happened. And so you never get to a point where they acknowledge, okay, we fucked up, our bad. We didn't know you was that serious or some shit like that, right? No, we never get to that. All we get is gaslighting and denial. And that's why black men are just like, nah, we good. We good. I don't know what we're going to do. Seriously speaking, I don't know what we're going to do. At the very least, you know what I wish? I wish black men worked together even if they weren't going to be with black women. I don't even care at this point if you end up with a beige, racially ambiguous, a subcategory of what would be labeled in America as still like in the black sphere of multiracial and biracial children, like what they got in South Africa with the coloreds. I wouldn't even care. If I could get a community like that of brothers just working together, I wouldn't even care. That's how fucked up it is. And we're going to sit here and play these games with these sisters that come online and these one-trick ponies of everything is fucking colorism. You know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here. It's like, it's like, this is not to say that black men are perfect. Let me make that abundantly clear. There were failures. There were times when black men, just didn't want to do shit or they took the easy way out. But black women, nah, y'all made a lot of this shit worse. You made it worse. It's like, one of the things that I learned from Captain Solo years ago was like, you never equalize yourself to a person that's being stupid. Like, you never equalize yourself to that person. Like, it's like if a black woman goes and has a kid, here's the way the black men will equalize themselves to stupidity. They'll sit there and a black woman goes off and, she'll talk, she can, abandon the child and leave the child at a hospital. And then a black man will be like, well, if she can do that, I should be able to abandon the child too. Like, why are you trying to equalize yourself to stupidity? You see what I'm saying? Right? If you had the child and you brought the child into the world, then it's your responsibility to father that child and whatnot. But see, a lot of guys, they get caught up in what women are capable of doing or what women are allowed to do in society, and then they try to equalize themselves to the stupid ass shit that women do that fuck everything up. Again, it was already stated to me that black men are stupid because unlike other races of men, other races of men understand that women, period, have to be controlled. And that came from a woman that, she didn't, particularly care for, black men in that way. But what she did understand, and it's one of the things that I hate about women sometimes, is when shit gets fucked up, it'll be men's fault because men didn't create the fucking barricades to prevent her from doing stupid shit. Even though the woman will sit there and if you put the barricades up before she files the complaint, it's oppression. If you put the barricades up after she fucked up and you got to go in there and rescue her, then it'll be you should have had the barricades up in the first place. And you should have known that because I'm a woman and that I do things and I'm in my feelings. You should know that. And so it's like, it's oppression if you put the barricades up first. And it's a failure of your patriarchal male duties if you only put the barricades up after the fact, after the women fuck up, after you give the women free reign and they fuck the shit all the way up. You know what I mean? Like this is where, I don't want to be sexist. I didn't grow up thinking that sexism was the way to be. But the way that women are so fucking unaccountable, I'm like, you have to be sexist. You have to be fucking sexist when it comes to dealing with women in the real world. Not the shit they had in corporate America and the office and everything. There's rules and shit, and there's a SOP and there's a handbook and everything else for people to understand. What are the expectations, right? Men and women get fired all the time in the workplace, so women can get held accountable for the things that they do incorrectly. It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing. It's like court. It's so beautiful to watch a woman get held accountable, because in the real world, that women get away with a tremendous amount. This is one of the things that Thugtician, pointed out. He said, that women are way more dangerous than men, because oftentimes they can do things and get away with things, and by the time that you notice, it's often too late. It's unfixable. It's incorrectable. Or uncorrectable, right? So, I'm like, damn, that fucks with my soul, because I'm like, you mean to tell me we gotta oppress bitches, we gotta fucking put up barriers, and because they're too stupid to see what you're trying to do, they're too stupid to realize that you have to do this, because if you don't do it and then there's a calamity and then shit fails, they're gonna blame you anyway. Well, if you was a real man, you would have been strong enough to hold me down, so I didn't do some crazy shit. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta hold you down? If you a real man would have been able to handle me and make sure that I didn't do some fucked up emotional shit. I'm like, how about you just don't do fucked up emotional shit? That's not how this works. See, this is a test. It's a litmus test of your strength. If you were truly, truly powerful, then you would be able to prevent me from doing any and all things. I'm like, oh my God, really? I gotta do all that? I gotta fucking do the black snake moan, with Samuel L. Jackson with the fucking chain around your waist. And when every time you try to get off the porch, I gotta fucking yank you and pull you and shit. But yet you're running around screaming about gender equality and women are men's equals and women can make decisions like men do. But then when we let you all make the motherfucking decisions and you fuck up, then all of a sudden, I'm just a dainty feminine woman and I can't do anything. And if you men were handling business, then I wouldn't have made that stupid decision. I only made that decision because black men failed. I'm like, you don't even know what you asking for. It's the same thing. I just had an argument with a white guy about this shit. He was talking about how groups of people conquer each other all the time. And so why is it a problem that white people conquered and enslaved black people? That's just a situation of the time. And I was like, you motherfucker, you need to be careful with that shit. You need to be careful with that shit, because y'all motherfuckers run around and you try, like when white people get fucked up, they try to, oh, you know, well, we live in a civilized society and morality this and morality that. And I'm saying, motherfucker, if you're saying that that's just the way that the fucking cookie crumbles, which is always easy to say that's the way that the cookie crumbles when you're in the better position. When you're in the better position. But I told him, I was like, oh, if that's the way the cookie crumbles, if that's the way that you see it, I don't want to hear nothing about no morality when a white person gets fucked up by a black person. I suggest you carry a weapon on you at all times. At all times. If that's how it's going to be, if we're just a bunch of Sith Lords walking around with red lightsabers on some Chronicles of Riddick, you keep what you kill, you know, if that's what it's going to fucking be, yeah, at any given moment, you could just be challenged and shit like the fucking Spock versus, you know, Captain Kirk. You know what I mean? Like, just out of nowhere. You know what I mean? If that's what it's going to, if it's just going to be a bunch of, you know, I challenge thee to a duel, you know what I mean? It just open combat everywhere. Then, well, then motherfucker, don't be bitching if your ass loses and your white ass is on the fucking, ground disemboweled and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they love to play that fucking game. And I'm saying women do the same fucking bullshit. They'll sit there, oh, you should control us if you were a real man, this, that, and the third. Oh, y'all haven't built a patriarchy and a structure and walled us off in the corner. These will be the same women talking about all men want to do is make women pregnant and barefoot and lock them in the house. You see? When you give women free reign and they do whatever the fuck they want to do and they got their own choices and shit like that, it will always be, oh, it's because men were too weak to control us. And we only made decisions because the men failed. They don't take any accountability. None. You know, and this is why a lot of young black men are like, yo, fuck it. I ain't dealing with it. I'm done. It's a wrap. You know, thank you and good night. You know, seriously speaking. These women are insufferable. Absolutely insufferable. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all. That's my video, SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. I'm like fucking 4 videos behind.
On the scene, diamond blingy, whole screen. Checkerboard, Louis V. I'm so fresh and so clean. Stuff them bands in my jeans. Slap them 30s in them things. Pull the trigger, let it sing. Then go smoke a Russian cream.
Boo, hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Where you at?
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!